What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are diving into our defensive game plan against the Washington football team for Sunday. Man, this defense needs to bounce back, and it needs to bounce back big time. So let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome in, everybody, to another video. Glad you guys are here. It is hashtag Wash Week. Sounds cool, I know. I thought of it myself. Let's dive into these stats, man. So we're going to take a look at the stats, you know, the general stuff, and then we're going to dive into the film side of things. You guys know the drill. I don't need to explain it. But let me say this. Alex Smith will be making the start against the Detroit Lions. He has played in 2 games so far this year. He didn't start in either of those games, but injuries, hey, they caused him to come in, and Alex Smith has taken over, and he's played pretty well from the eye test. The problem is his interceptions. If you look at his stats, you're like, wow, 3 interceptions, that's not good. But some of it is him trying to make plays when the game's about over, and he has made some mistakes. There's no question about it. But aside from those few mistakes, this guy's tough. He's really tough. I mean, he's put up some monstrous yards when he's gotten the opportunity with some, you could say, average to below average weapons offensively. They also have some former Detroit Lions and J.D. McKissick, who will be good to go. Logan Thomas as their top tight end. So they have some weapons, but Alex Smith concerns me because he's got 2 things going for him. One, he's mobile, but the Lions have done good against mobile quarterbacks under Patricia. But the second thing is that he is a vet, and he does a great job of reading the defense. He does a great job of reading the defense. Alex Smith, and you've seen veteran quarterbacks against the Detroit Lions, they do a really good job of that pre-snap things and taking shots, beating a zone. That's what's really tough. And if you're not getting consistent pass rush from your defensive line, it can be really difficult to stop guys like Alex Smith because now you have to worry about keeping him contained. It's tough to play man defense because he can take off. And then you have these quick little running backs out of the backfield, these little scat backs like J.D. McKissick, and you also have your Antonio Gibson, who probably won't play, but Bryce Love could play, you know, out of Stanford. You have these little guys out of the backfield that are going to make plays. So it's tough. I mean, this is a tough offense with Alex Smith, and I'm a little bit concerned, I'm not going to lie. So don't get caught up too much in the numbers of, yeah, they average 19 a game. Don't get caught up in that because Alex Smith has been the starter. Honestly, it looks like Alex Smith should have been a starter. I'm really glad that he's able to play again. He survived a really big scare, and now he's back at football, and he's doing his thing. So shout out to Alex Smith. Let me just say that. I mean, that's just remarkable. But he's going to pose a big threat for the Detroit Lions, and I can't wait to get to the film side of things because there's a lot of good things to touch on. But if you look at this team, the Washington football team, and you see their stats, you can see that J.D. McKissick, he averages 4.8 yards per carry, but they don't run the ball a lot. Some of that has to do with being down, but a lot of it actually has to do with the fact that they're a high-octane passing offense when it comes to Alex Smith starting at quarterback. Now, they're not a team that takes tons of shots. They take what's given, all right? They're going to take the dump-offs. They're going to take the dink and dunks. I think against the Rams, he had like 2.8 yards per attempt, much more against the Giants, but they're a team that's going to take what you give them, and if you're not going to give them deep shots, they won't take it, but they do a really good job of setting up things. The pump fake is something that you have to watch out for when it comes to the Washington football team and Alex Smith. He's really good at setting things up pre-snap. Tons of motions. We'll see it on the film. There's just a lot of moving pieces, and it's really difficult to play zone because he's a vet. He reads the defense well, and he's mobile, but it's also difficult to play man because he's mobile, and if he gets outside the pocket, you know, he can make you pay, but they do bring in some RPOs, which is good against man, but again, can you match up man-to-man? That's the question. Can you get pass rush with just 4 guys? I don't think their offensive line is that great, but I think the Lions will be able to get some pressure with Griffen. But man, it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. If you look at when Alex Smith has played, passing attempts for the football team way outweighs the rushing attempts. For example, in his first game that he stepped in, which was against the Giants, in that game, they passed the ball 39 times in total between the 2 quarterbacks. They only had 9 rushing attempts for the running backs. In his second game, they had 30 passing attempts and 12 rushing attempts through the running backs. You can see that they pass the ball way more. They look like a college offense. They'll play a lot out of the shotgun. That's most of the time. They take their snaps. And again, they mix in some RPOs. They do a lot of screens, a lot of quick hitters. And veteran quarterback Alex Smith does a really good job of setting stuff up pre-snap. I mean, and these are the type of quarterbacks the Lions struggle with. Not mobile, but vets that read the defense well. And the Lions zone defense concerns me, especially with Jeffrey Okudah, who I feel like is improving in man defense. But in zone defense, I'm a little bit worried because I just don't think he's there yet. However, the good news is we seem to be getting healthy. One of the biggest challenges that's going to pose is if the Detroit Lions drop to man-to-man defense and you put a linebacker on a running back. We know last week against Dalvin Cook how that went. My personal opinion, I would like to see the Lions man up on the outside and play some zone over the middle. They mix in crossing routes. The Lions can take it away if they put some zone over the middle with their linebackers. You know, you put your linebacker zone, you man up the outsides, you go single high safety, and I think that's kind of the move for the most part in this game. Maybe you could put 2 safeties, maybe you could play 2-man defense depending on how many weapons they put out on the field, but they're going to throw a lot of different looks at you. And I like playing zone over the middle to take away the crossers and just keep your eye on the running back. And that way you can be prepared for that. But the thing with zone that's also successful is that when you jump into zone defense, it's really good against the quick hitters because they like to snap it, look somewhere, and throw. The zone's really good against that because it forces them sometimes to hold on to the ball longer, which equals sacks. You can set up delayed rushes, blitzes, things like that. But if you play man-to-man defense, all of a sudden if your front four is not winning off the snap and you're not winning right away, now all of a sudden you can be in a position where, okay, he's got some time, he can survey, and players eventually seem to come open to man-to-man defense. So this is going to be tough. Their stats don't look great. 38% on third down so far this season. Only have 28 minutes of time of possession, but they're a high passing offense. They have a -6 turnover ratio. They will make mistakes. They absolutely will make mistakes. And again, if you look at all their games, you're going to see the scores. But the fact is, you just got to focus on the games that they had Alex Smith. They have some weapons for sure offensively, like some really good weapons that I'm like, oh snap, I'm a little bit worried about that guy. Terry McLaurin, the guy already has 50 receptions at the wide receiver position. They're also getting Sims back, who's just an explosive threat at the receiver group. Like I said, they have J.D. McKissick. Bryce Love looks like he could be potentially playing. I don't know how that's going right now, but he could play. And then Alex Smith with his legs, it makes it tough. And then Logan Thomas at tight end, he's played well a lot here, and this offense is very, very quarterback friendly. At least that's what Alex Smith says, and you can see he looks comfy. He looks comfy in this offense, but it's about, can you get pressure with that front four? The Rams dominated because they got a lot of pressure with guys like Aaron Donald. The Giants not so much because they weren't able to win one-on-ones. They had to do a couple interesting things, and he did pretty well when he stepped in against the Giants, aside from the few picks, which one was kind of weird. He kind of missed the running back, and the linebacker dove down and picked it. The next one was at the end of the game when the running back, just a little bit too high, tipped it in the air, and it was picked off. It's not going to be easy. The three players to watch, boom, Everson Griffen. I think Griffen gets his first sack. I think they put him over left guard. He gets a sack. That's the player to watch too. Jaron Kearse. I want to put Jaron Kearse in the box, help against the running backs. I really like Jaron Kearse in this matchup, but you're getting Tracy Walker back, which ultimately will help out Jaron Kearse for sure. We did see Will Harris last week because Tracy Walker is out. The question is, will Tracy Walker play this weekend? That could allow you to put Jaron Kearse in the box because I don't think they're a very physical team. I think they're a fast team that likes to throw it out, play a lot of gun. I think that's okay to put a safety in the box, say, hey, you're our safety for today's game. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm looking at this as type of game where you got a guy like Jamie Collins. If you're going to match him up once again on the running back, which other teams have done at times, not every play, that they mix it in, who do you trust here? I think this is the game where you have to look at it and say, okay, we need to trust our players, the talent that we have on this squad, that they can beat them. I mean, we got to put our guys in position where it's simply saying, you have to beat our players. I think when you look across the board, you got linebackers, you got Collins. You pay Collins $30 million for 3 years. You should be able to stop J.D. McKissick, right? Obviously, it's going to be difficult. Maybe Kearse gets involved. But I feel like you got to look at some of these matchups and say, okay, look, we have to trust our guys to be better than them. I mean, this is kind of what I'm looking at here. You have to trust the talent you brought in this offseason. The fact that you gave Trufant $20 million, he looked good last week. The fact that Amani has played well for the most part of the season. Okuda, solid in man. I would like to see more man because that. Justin Coleman, he gave the guy $36 million to play slot. All right, we need these guys to look at him and say, hey, look, okay, these are the guys we got. I think we have more talent here. Can we out-talent this team? Outbeat them. Have more skill than this team. That's what I'm looking at. We brought in these guys. We paid them big money. We spent big draft capital to be able to cover man-to-man, and that's what I want to see out this back end. It's a chance for the defense to have a big bounce-back game. You need to make a statement because they didn't make a statement last week. They went out and they started off slow. We got to come out ready to go. We got to come out firing on all cylinders, and you have to understand the situation, where this team is, where we're sitting in the standings, and how important it is to find a win. That's what the defense needs to realize. They need to take that amongst themselves, and it starts with Matt Patricia getting the group fired up. And I think you got to mix things up. You got to try to disguise things. If you're going to play zone, disguise it. You can't show it before the play. You can't have everybody be shifting before the play because all of a sudden he reads that and he takes advantage. You need tackling. There's a lot that goes into this. It's a tough team. You'll see it on the film. But overall, man, it's just really about containing the running backs out of the backfield and being prepared for a dink and dunk type of game. You just got to be willing to stick with it, be consistent, and also be disciplined. Don't get out of position before a snap because Alex Smith will destroy you. Let's hop over to the film. What is up? No, I'm not doing my intro. I'm sorry. I already did that. Welcome in, everybody, to another... We're doing the intro still. Okay, so here we are on the film side of things. We're going to be taking a look at the Washington football team and what they've looked like so far this year with quarterback Alex Smith and what to look out for as they face our Detroit Lions. Now, as we said before, Alex Smith has been named the starter for the game against the Detroit Lions, and he poses a very, very big threat in two ways. He poses a big threat. One, he's mobile. That's always a big threat. But I'm not too concerned about that because I know that Matt Patricia has historically done really well against mobile quarterbacks. But the other side I'm concerned about is the fact that this is a 36-year-old veteran quarterback, and we struggle against vet quarterbacks. I think it's because they do such a good job of reading the defense, finding things before the snap. They're just really good at that kind of thing, right? They are able to move players in the zone. All of that, it makes it tough for a defense. Veteran quarterbacks are really tough for us to stop, and they're really tough for a lot of teams to stop, but especially us. Okay, so let's take a look at this Washington football team. I have a couple of plays that I want to show you guys, and I'm excited for this one. but this is going to be a challenge. There's a lot of things to talk about. There's a lot of players to look for in this game, so let's hop right into it. Okay, let's look at this first play here, and this one's going to be pretty simple. You know, I always set up with something simple. You're just going to see a nice little motions from the slot here. Now, this could be a running back. This could be a receiver. Sometimes they'll line J.D. McKissick out there. But you're just going to see a nice little motion. And this is something that they do a lot. So I want to show you early. I honestly think their intention here was to get the attention of this cornerback, because as he comes across, what they're going to do is they're actually going to pull some guards, and what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to get the run inside here. I think their intention is to try to get him focused on the receiver, and he's able to get upfield. It doesn't work the best, but I just want to show you an example of what they like to do. So there you see the pull guard. He follows him behind, and he tries to pick up a few yards. Not a bad run. It's like 3-4 yards. Nothing wrong with that. Now I'm going to show you another basic run. You're not going to see this very often with Alex Smith, okay? So enjoy it. Okay, I don't know what that means. But you're going to see a stretch run here, and their offensive line, they just really seem to struggle when ones-on-ones. Here you got a tight end on your tackle, and you got 2-on-1, 2-on-1. They just seem to struggle with most defensive linemen. And I think this is a game where you could see our defensive line actually have a pretty solid game. Here you can see he just blows it up. That's a lot of athleticism, pushes Logan Thomas out of the way, and makes the play in the backfield. Well, he doesn't make the play, but he sets it up. Now, keep in mind, this Washington team, they got a lot of former lines, right? They got a lot of former lines, and they get really involved in this offense. So we'll see how that goes in this football game. All right. Now, let's get into, again, another motion play. And these motions are so important because they move the defense. Now, a lot of teams I've seen play zone defense, at least against Alex Smith. I was just focused on what they look like with Alex Smith. And defenses, the Rams and the Giants specifically, they play a lot of zone defense against the Washington football team, a lot of it. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, they're a very quick-hitting team. They like to hit the quick shots. Boom, snap it, got it, good. That's what they want to do. Also, you get a lot of running backs going out there. They're not trying to get these mismatches with linebackers on running backs. That's another reason they go and play a lot of zone defense. Plus, your quarterback's mobile, right? You don't want to have man-to-man defense, everybody's back's turned, and then all of a sudden you have Alex Smith take off and pick up 30 yards. Those are the concerns. We're going to take a look at a lot of running plays, and we'll get into their passing. This is a numbers game. So again, another motion. And what you're going to see with this motion is that they are just simply outnumbered here, okay? So boom, watch. That motion moves the linebacker. You see the linebacker shift just a little bit before the snap, okay? Because, again, that kind of tells you it's zone when they all shift. But they move a little bit before the snap, and you're going to see they pull the guard. Then they're also going to move their tight end as well. So now you have, your extra blockers, and there's just not a guy. There's not enough defensive players here. You can see 1, 2 versus, look at this. Look at how many they got. They got one here. They got a blocker there. They got a lead blocker here. They have Logan Thomas who's blocking against the running back. You're just outnumbered. It's a numbers game for Washington. They're very good with that pre-snap, and you're going to see here, boom. He hits the hole. They pick up the blocks, and it's just a nice hole. He's able to pick up a really solid game. It's a numbers game, and that's what Lions are going to have to be ready for, is that they have to be very disciplined because if they're going to play a lot of zone defense, all these motions are going to try to move them out of the way and set it up for their offense. Okay, they're trying to create holes. But what's really tough about this offense is they have a lot of different options off of stuff. They have the RPOs, right? You got the handoff, you got the quick screen, you got the pass downfield, you got play action. There's a lot of different things that they can do with this offense because of that. Now, you have your little receiver here. They look like they're setting up a screen, which is a good disguise. But you can see defensively, look how many defenders are over here. I mean, it's simple, right? You have 4 defenders on this side against 3 receivers. So again, it's numbers. You had your running back lined up on this side, which pretty much usually tells you it's going to be a handoff. That way, he's probably going that way unless it's some kind of counter. But for the most part, he's going to go that way. And you have 4 of the defenders against 3 players. So you're taking 1 player essentially out of the play. And you can see that there's going to be a hole here created because you have 1 lineman who's double team blocking. And all he has to do is get to the hole, and you should have a lead blocker in front. And you can see he gets this down to about the 2-yard line. Boom, there's a lead blocker. And it's just about numbers, man. It's about numbers in this football game. So you have to be disciplined just to, stay with your guy. But this is where it helps being a very talented zone team if you're going to go into it, because if you're playing a lot of zone, guys that have to move pre-snap and really get there because they want to get there before the snap happens. If you can disguise it defensively and not really show what you're going to do, all of a sudden it makes it tough on the offense because they're not really sure what to go with off the motion. But if you have players moving around and they're trying to get to their spots before the snap, all of a sudden the offense can see everything that's going to be there, and they can see their mismatches and where they want to pick you apart. And for Lions defensively, I think their zone needs a lot of work, especially with Jeffrey Okudah. So I'm a little bit concerned about that matchup. But we'll talk about what I think the Lions should do defensively. Again, another numbers game. So they send Logan Thomas, the former Lion, in motion. He's going to pick up this block, and then everybody's just picking up their guy. They're going to go a little bit to their left, a little bit block to their left, but it's just easy. It's easy. You don't even need to worry about the edge rusher because he picks up the backside and he jumps in and it's the touchdown. Now, with Alex Smith, this offense is tough. I know if you look at their scoring numbers, like, oh, man, with Alex Smith, they're tough. Now, he does have some turnovers, but they're him trying to force some things. But for the most part, they can move the ball. He had over 340 yards in his last game against the Giants. He even played the full game. This offense is tough. Something that they're going to use, and now they don't do it a ton, but there is a way to play against run pass options. It's obviously tough because you don't know pre-snap. You can just see how they're lined up basically, right? You have the two, and then you have the guy leaking out for the screen, and then you have the one-on-one here, and this one is just going to be a handoff. So he's just reading the edge defender. He's going to see what he does, and then he goes with a handoff, and he picks up a nice little chunk of yards. Now, the edge contain has to be better there. You have to be quicker there to make that stop, but again, he has to stay disciplined because of the fact that, hey, the quarterback could keep it. You could try to belly outside. Now, here's an example of a college game of a team doing this, going against an RPO. And if you're playing against RPOs, it's really good to be able to play man defense. Now, obviously, you don't always know before the snap, but man defense is great. Getting out of position, moving around, following things. So everybody's just locked into their man. Also, there's a couple key players here. Boom, you got your weak side help, and you got your weak side safety. What they're going to do here is because they have this safety, and he's going to come down, he's going to play in the box now. So see, you got one linebacker, he goes down, plays in the box. Now all of a sudden, if you're trying to go to a slant, he's going to take that away. And you got man on man here, so all you have to do is cover for a couple seconds because they're usually quick hitters. RPOs are quick hitters. They're not, hey, hold it, because you can't do that. They're quick hitters. And then what they do is because he's stepping down, this edge rusher has the ability to be aggressive, right? He doesn't have to wait and be super disciplined because you have your safety stepping in the box. So even if the quarterback keeps it, now all of a sudden your safety's out there one-on-one against the quarterback, right? You like that matchup. So watch this play out. You can see he just comes right at it. No matter what happens, you got the one-on-one here. Now he's stepping in the box. He sees quarterback has it, and there's nothing there. It's an incomplete pass. That's what you can do defensively if you're playing man-to-man defense. But again, a lot of teams play zone against the Washington football team. However, me personally, I would like to play more man in this game for that reason, but also for what the Lions' strengths are. I personally think the Lions are built to be a man-to-man team, and I think that's how they build them off this offseason. I don't think we would build our team to play as much zone as we did man. Zone's cool, mix it in. Don't do man every single play. That'll be obvious. But I do like the thought of playing man against this team, the cornerback blitz. Now, this one works well. Sometimes they do a good job picking up. This one, they disguise it well, right, because it looks like he's just simply manned up. They do a good job here, right? The tackle, he gets engaged, and by the time he's engaged on his player, you're able to get off the edge. Now, there's something to look out for. Even though he does get sacked, you can see what comes open here. Boom. The running back leaks out. If he gets this off, he's got a nice game, right? He's going to get about a couple yards. You got to watch from the running back in this game. I mean, that's what killed us against the Vikings, so obviously it's something that we have to be focused on. And when you see, what they have in their backfield with J.D. McKissick, right? When you see Antonio Gibson, if he's healthy, probably won't be healthy. Bryce Love, they have guys that can make plays. 5 receivers, you just spread them out. He calls it a quarterback-friendly offense because, hey, guess what? As quick hitters, I just take what the defense is giving me. And this time, watch, he just throws right from where the rush is coming from, okay? So they bring 3, they drop here, but he's just throwing right to it is. You're playing kind of soft in his zone here, and he just dumps it over and takes what they get him. That's how they're going to play. They're going to dump it off. He's going to take what's there, and then all of a sudden, he'll hit you with that deep shot. Now, this is where it comes to being disciplined, because if you're going to play zone, pump fake is what opens up things deep for this offense. It's not just every once in a while I'm going to take a shot. He hits the pump fake, and all of a sudden, he gets you deep. And there's a couple of options, a couple times where we see that, and I'll show you one example. Try it again, right? This is something that we talked about earlier. You can already see that he's really not lined up to play man-to-man defense. You can tell it's zone defense just by how they're lined up on their own. So that's something that the quarterback can read. They bring the motion, but you could tell it's zone defense. So the cornerback comes off the edge. This time, J.D. McKissick is able to stop there, pick him up with his speed. I like, if you could bring a linebacker off the edge, but of course you can't put a linebacker there because that completely sells it. But boom, you take it to Alex Smith. Now watch what they did. Watch the route concept. You guys are going to love this. Crossing routes. Don't we love crossing routes, man? Teams just love doing this against us, right? They love crossing routes. Crossing routes are so popular. Well, boom, I circled the wrong player. Okay, they hit you with the crossing route here. Now, look, if Alex Smith wasn't super mobile, maybe he's sacked. But it's a really good job by McKissick picking it up. They hit you with the cross route. You got a wide open player right here because of the blitz. He just throws right back to the blitz, and his mobility sets up a big play to the tight end. So that's what Alex Smith brings. It's just something that he brings to his game. He's a vet quarterback. He can read it before the snap. He knows what he's looking for before he snaps the ball, and that's what's difficult about playing against these guys and trying to disguise things. Because if you don't disguise it well, all of a sudden they're going to hit you with that. This one I want to circle this before, just because it sets up things later, is that they're going to bring this motion off the edge. They're going to bring him around behind. It's just something to watch for because they're going to set up something later with it. You can see as he motions, watch everybody move. You see everybody shift one way. Kind of a tell for the quarterback when all the linebackers and, cornerback shift. So just look out of the backfield. He's got it here. He doesn't take it. He takes the dump underneath. This is a good job by the linebacker to close on this. He plays aggressive. He's close enough. I think that's Blake Martinez. He does a good job of, closing on that, knocking away, making it incomplete. This is a threat that Alex Smith brings that not all quarterbacks bring. So again, he knows you're playing a lot of zone defense against him. You're going to bring a 4-man rush here. I do like the fact that they did a little bit of a stunt with the inside and outside to get some pressure. But watch this play. So on the surface, just saying, what is that cornerback doing? Like, why is he so far out there? But when you watch the play back, what's interesting is how well he used his eyes. So the cornerback's sitting here. He's got his man. He's going to sit down. Boom. Now, the cornerback's not just backing up for no reason. Alex Smith is, you can't tell from here. He's looking down deep. He's looking at the deepest receiver, I'm guessing, and it's causing this corner to keep backing up and, play that zone. So he backs up. Now, all of a sudden, he just takes the underneath. He's like, man, he just gave me that free pass. That's a first down. It's a huge gain. See, what happens when you play zone defense, the zone coverage, the deep defensive backs, they're taught to watch the quarterback's eyes, right? They watch the QB's eyes. So when you're locked into QB's eyes, you have a guy like Alex Smith who will follow you deep and he backs you up and then he just dumps it underneath. That's tough. I like man defense in this game if you can come out and play it. I think the Lions are built for man. I don't trust Okudah in zone defense on deep passes. I really don't. But where zone helps you is these quick hitters. If you play man and quick hitters, you're pretty much going to have to press. But otherwise, if you drop into zone, all of a sudden you can bring some zone blitzes, things like that. I like playing man in this game. I like that matchup, especially if a front four can win. And that's kind of what the Rams did. Their front four really dominated here. It's not as much a surprise. They do have a guy named Aaron Donald. He's okay, so that guy can do a couple of things. I'm just saying, he's all right. Step in really quick here just to help you guys see what I'm actually showing here on this play. So this is kind of the defense that I'm looking to play in this game. You can see on the outside, the cornerback stick man-to-man. You can see the linebackers in the inside play zone. They take away the little curl. That's kind of what I'm looking to do for the base sets. Obviously, you have to mix in other things to keep the offense guessing. But that's kind of what I'm looking to for a lot of times. Of course, if your front four can get pressure, that's great. Maybe send some stunts. If you get him in passing downs, it also helps. And you can put some pass rushers on the field. But I expect Griffen to do well over the left guard. I think you're going to put him in the inside. I think he's going to do well. We won't have Trey Flowers, but, you could get some pressure from Romeo Cora off the other side. I think this is one of the sets that I would like to see the Lions mix into a lot. Front four can get after it. I think it'll be great. One player I'm looking at is Everson Griffen. I think you put him over at left guard. I think he's going to get his first sack of the season. I think that's their weakness. One of their weaknesses, offensive line. I just see Griffen beating him. I really do. Here we go. You see, they bring a little bit of a cornerback blitz on their own here. And this is just a really good disciplined play. This is good. Again, though, he avoids the mistake with this one. So you bring the blitz off the edge. The linebacker sits in coverage. It's really good because he's looking at the blitz. He's focused on the blitz. And by the time he looks back, by the time he throws it over there, you got the linebacker away. I think that caused him to throw it kind of goofy, and he throws it incomplete. But it was good pressure. It was just good pressure from a couple of players. Here you're going to see this is a three-man rush. Just look at the pressure. They collapse the pocket, and he takes the dink and dunk, right? He just takes the dink and dunk, and that's what he's going to do. You have your linebacker leave, he's just going to dump it off. He's not going to force shots that aren't there. He sets a quarterback-friendly offense. He's going to take a lot of dink and dunks, and he will beat you on those as well. You're going to see a three-man rush. You bring the delayed rush, not a blitz. It's a delayed rush because you only brought four. And then I like this. You have your linebacker pick up the running back. You're playing man across the board. And all of a sudden, boom, he tries to escape, and you have a linebacker pick him up. He's not as fast as maybe he used to be. Just grateful to see him this time playing again. But, that's just something to keep an eye out for. Now, boom, we touched on this earlier. So here they go again, right? They bring the end around motion. And all of a sudden, watch how they do this. This is just great. I mean, these are just great designs. Watch, hit him with the play action. All right, so that causes inside players to bite. Now you hit him with the pump fake, and all of a sudden, he's got a deep route wide open. There's a lot that goes into this play, though. There's a lot of players affected by this. So again, look, we talked about the RPOs earlier. So now you have your man crashing down here, and you're going to have your linebacker try to fill in. Well, when he crashes down, that play action, he's focused on that. Will the quarterback keep it? Will they hand it off? Instead of the receiver. So now they look to the receiver. Now you have your guy, Jabril Peppers, in the back end, who sees this, and he jumps on the fake. He jumps completely on the fake, and now he's out of position, and they go right by him, and they hit him with the big play there. The pump fake is something. I mean, you got to be disciplined to play this team. And again, that's why I like man-to-man, because I just don't trust our zone defense against a veteran quarterback. I just don't trust it right now. I trust our man way more, and I think if we're healthy, if you have Okudah, you have Trufant, you have Coleman, you have Amani, I think we're healthy enough to play man-to-man. I don't think their weapons outbeat us really anywhere. I think we have the advantage across the board. I would play man-to-man other than, Scary Terry McLaurin. Maybe you put Trufant on him. If he can hold that down, that would be great. Here we go. This is a good job by the Giants. We talk about the crossing routes, how do you stop those? The Lions have done a better job. Here you're going to play some man defense. Look, they do a great job here. Linebacker sits, boom, takes it away. This is what I want to see, right? You play the zone on the linebacker, he takes it away. But the problem is you're a slot man, he gets beat here, and they get the big completion. He's a solid quarterback, but if I think the Lions could play better man. I think the Lions would be better in man coverage than what the Giants were. I think we have better talent in the quarterback group. And again, you paid it. You brought in a third-round pick. You have Amani returning. You signed $20 million to Trufant. You signed, what was it? I don't even remember at this point. $27 million, I think, $27 million to Justin Coleman. It's $36 million to Justin Coleman. You gave these guys big deals to play man, and I think this is the game that you see a lot more man defense. But again, you have to make sure that your linebackers are prepared to sit in zone and take away the crossers, and then you have to make sure they're also prepared to watch Alex Smith. They sit, you have Jamie, you have Curse playing in the box. I like that. Edge rushers, if you bring four, don't worry about getting pressure. I mean, it's great if you can get pressure, but if you can't, contain. Just make sure you try to keep this guy in the pocket. Keep him in the pocket and put Everson Griffen in the interior, and I think you have a big day. You can see just creating something, dumping it down. There is a play that I want to get to that I really want to show you guys, which it's so good. You can see the left guard just getting blown up the ball here. I think Griffin's there, he gets his first sack. I think you put Griffen there, he gets his first sack. You're going to see an interception on this drive, but they scored 17 points in this game with him when he came in the second quarter, and they lost by 3. I mean, they made it a game. Here you're going to see, look at him, just attack the zone defense. This is what concerns me. This is a great play. This is what I want to show you guys. Watch this design. This is just beautiful. Okay, so you have your center here. You don't see things like this. So when you play zone defense, they're asking their linebackers to drop and take away the middle, right? Well, watch this play. So they're going to pull their center. He snaps it and pulls, and the linebacker's like, oh, snap, it's a run, looking at the center. But all of a sudden, that sets up where he's got all this space now because he stepped up trying to stop the run. He's like, oh, snap, it's not a run. And all of a sudden, you got the wide open pass from middle. I'm worried about playing zone. I like more man. You're going to have to mix it in. I like trying to blitz out of it to try to get him uncomfortable, but that stuff worries me. That stuff, no doubt, it definitely worries me if the Lions are going to play a lot of heavy zone in this one. Here you say another delayed rush, but this time, the right tackle's just beat. You get your right tackle beat, you got some speed, he's beat off the edge, and this ultimately ended the game here. And just a high throw. I mean, he had his guy, he just threw it a little bit high, and that ended the game. Sure, mix in the zone. I mean, there's benefits of both for sure. You got to mix it, that way you keep them guessing, but it helps you against RPOs if you're sitting in man. I just like playing man-to-man defense in this game. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one. I mean, look, they're not the most talented team, but they're a pass-first team. They throw the ball a lot. With, Alex Smith, it's not even close. It's like a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio when it comes to passing the rest of the football. You're going to see a lot of the gun. It looks like college offense. And there's just a lot of things to worry about. And obviously, when you have Logan Thomas, J.D. McKissick, these former Lions, they're going to try to have a big game versus us. So it'll be a matchup, but the Lions need to find a way to get it. We need to see Patricia scheme something up against this mobile quarterback. He's done well against it. Let's do it again. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out. Are you kidding me right now? I had to put my helmet on for this one. Are you kidding? Look at this. Look at all these members. What? Yo, hey, shout out to all the members, man. Look how many All-Pro members there are. Like, literally, it's the whole screen, dog. This is crazy. The patrons, of course, the Hall of Fame members, man. Y'all got the gold color. It's kind of yellow, but it's supposed to be gold. Shout out to all the members, man. If you want to be a part of this, all you got to do is join the channel. But there are perks that come with it. Stay locked in the community tab if you are a member, because that's where a lot of information comes out. I appreciate all of you. What?